Are you ready? Hi there, and welcome back to In the Kitchen with Cole. I'm Cole, and this is my kitchen. Today I'm going to make homemade bread. I've made bread before, but I've always put it in the bread machine and let the machine do its thing, and it's not very hands-on. So I figured I'd try to do everything myself. The recipe I'm using today does not require hand kneading, which is good if any of you, like me, don't like to touch the sticky dough. I just have weird texture issues, but I figured that'd be a good place to start, and then maybe later on I'll try a different recipe where I do need it. I am rambling, so let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty then, let's get started. The first ingredient is 3 1/4 cups of bread flour. This is what I've been told the best way to measure out by volume is. One of these days I'm going to get a kitchen scale and be all fancy. Measure by weight instead of volume. That's supposedly the best way. Which makes sense. You get it every time exactly the same. But the best way to measure flour for volume is to scoop it out with a separate spoon into your cup, and then flatten it, level it out like that. That's 1 cup. We need 2 1/4 more. Something tells me this bowl isn't going to be big enough for this recipe, but it's the biggest one I have, so I'll have to deal, I guess. I'm going to move this out of the way. I will put it away later, but it doesn't need to be in frame right now. The next thing we need is 2 teaspoons of coarse salt. This recipe says that coarse salt brings out the flavor better in their experience. And it says if you only have table salt to use 1 to 1 1/4 teaspoons. I have coarse salt, so that's what I'll use. I was not prepared, was I? I'm just gonna dump some in here just to make it easier to scoop. This is a 1/2 teaspoon, so I'm gonna use 2 or 4 of them to make 2 teaspoons. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we need 2 teaspoons of instant yeast. So again, this is a 1/2 teaspoon, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're gonna whisk that together. Pardon my reach. Alrighty. And then we're gonna mix in some cool water. It's 1 1/2 cups. Sorry, I had to check my notes. I've already got it out. Now, warm water is best for blooming yeast, but this is instant yeast, so it doesn't need to be bloomed. The recipe says that the cool water will make it take longer to rise, which will help bring out the flavors more. Since this is a really simple bread recipe, we want to do everything we can to build out, or to build up those flavors. So we're just going to stir all this together until it makes a nice dough ball. Alright, it looks like we've got everything mixed together thoroughly. So we're just going to try and I'm going to flour my hands a little bit and work it with my hands. Oop, I did not flour my hands enough and it is sticking. Oh well, live and learn. I don't know if you can hear my cat, but he is asking for attention. Yep, no, this was a bad idea. Alright. That's disgusting. I have no idea how I'm going to get it off my hand. Now the recipe says to cover it with plastic wrap or aluminum foil and let it sit at room temperature for about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours it says, to let the dough rise. So I'm just going to cover this. I do not like plastic wrap. Alrighty. Yeah, no, this isn't sticking to the bowl. It's just sticking to itself. It's frustrating, and I should have used aluminum foil. Today on this episode of In the Kitchen with Cole, Cole complains about everything. Ha ha ha! Alright, so I'll see you back in 2 to 3 hours. Alrighty, it's been about 2.5 hours, and as you can see, our dough has about doubled in size. Now, the recipe says we can immediately put it into the oven, but it'll taste better if we put it in the fridge to proof a little longer, for between 12 hours and 2 to 3 days. The recipe goes on to say that the writer normally does it for about 18 hours. So I guess that's what I'm going to go for. They're the expert after all. So I'll see you back again in about 18 hours. Hello everyone, we're back. I know I said it was going to be about 18 hours, and it ended up being more like 21 and a half, give or take. So we've got a large baking pan. The recipe says use non-stick. I don't know whether mine is non-stick or not. I don't remember. I've had it for a while. Anyway. So since I don't know if it's non-stick or not, I've laid some parchment paper down. I have lightly dusted it with some cornstarch. And I've cornstarched my hand so that the dough doesn't stick to it. So we're going to form our bread into 2 loaves. God, this is so sticky. Got some stuck to the top of the the bottom of the microwave. I will clean that up later. Oh God, that is quite sticky. These are not going to be pretty bread loaves, I can tell you that. But hopefully they'll be tasty. Oh, my sleeve is coming unpushed. Wow, this is messy. so 2 loaves. Holy cow. Alright, I'm gonna wash my hands before doing the next step. Alright, the next thing we want to do is score the bread a couple times. Oh, I'm getting sticky again. I don't know if this is for aesthetics or if this is for like an actual science reason, but I'm gonna go with it. My knife is not sharp enough for this. Oh my cow. So, I guess we're just gonna hope for the best. Alright, so now we're going to preheat the oven for 475. The recipe says that the hot temperature will set the crust and ensure that the bread rises rather than goes out over the edge. And we're just going to let our dough set while our oven preheats. And I will see you back in a few minutes. Our oven is preheated and our bread is ready to go in the oven. Ooh, that is warm. Let's move that this way. And now we bake for 20 to 25 minutes. Let's set our oven timer. For 20 minutes. All right, see you then. All right, we baked it for 20 minutes. We've let it sit for about, I'm gonna say 10 minutes. They're kind of wonky shaped, but that's okay for my first try. Let's cut into it. Ooh, do you hear that? It's nice and crispy sounding. Ow, it's a little warm. Looks light and airy and fluffy. And I'm having issues with the bottom crust, so let's try Cotley. The bottom crust is hardy. There we go. Put a little butter on it. Oopsie. Let's take a bite, shall we? It's not bad. I've definitely had better homemade bread. Oh, there's the flavor. It hits you after a minute. It might be because of all this cornstarch. Let's try just reaching out. I was gonna reach in and just try some of the middle, but that's warm. Oh yeah, that's good. Nice and yeasty. Which is kind of a gross word, but it's a good taste. So, there are definitely things I do different next time, like use actual bread pans. Maybe I'll try like olive oil or something instead of cornstarch next time. But this is a good recipe. I had a lot of fun making it. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it too. Well, that was a little messier than I anticipated. Even though I didn't have to knead it, I still ended up getting my hands sticky, but I still had a lot of fun, and I think I'll try the recipe again, and I'll use a bread pan instead of forming it into loaves on the sheet pan. Or maybe I'll just try a whole new recipe the next time. Either way, I think I'm going to be making my own bread a lot more often in the future. It ended up tasting really good, way better than store-bought stuff. So, yeah, I had a good time and I enjoyed this recipe. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And please follow me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Feel free to send me pictures of your dishes, recipe requests or suggestions, or just say hi. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you learned something. I know I did.